Washington, February 1917. The German government informs Wilson that unrestricted submarine warfare, temporarily suspended to appease the Americans, will be resumed. Aimed at defeating England, the German move violates again the American concept of freedom of the seas, of freedom itself. Wilson's personal envoy to Europe, Colonel House, has long urged intervention. Secretary of State Lansing supports the president in breaking off diplomatic relations with Germany, as does Newton D. Baker, the Secretary of War. The Secretary of the Navy, Josephus Daniels, lays aside his pacifism as events move inexorably of diplomatic action. In March, a German plot to involve Mexico in a war with the United States is uncovered, following close on other revelations of German sabotage and conspiracy in America. April 2nd, Woodrow Wilson goes to the Congress. Neutrality is no longer feasible or desirable. It is a fearful thing to lead this great peaceful people into war, into the most terrible and disastrous of all wars, civilization itself seeming to be in the balance. But the right is more precious than peace. The world must be made safe for democracy. Cheers and songs and flag waving. America goes to war wide-eyed and eager. My message was a message of death for our young men. How strange it seems to applaud that, confides Woodrow Wilson. And he publicly declares, it is not an army we must shape for war, it is a nation. 10 million register for the draft, and the whole country submits to government control and direction on a scale never before imagined. In a few swift months, the United States undergoes its deepest transformation since the Civil War, as the country answers the president's call for force to the utmost, force without stint or limit. The mobilization of the mind, given new scope and intensity by the American genius for advertising. Never before has the art of propaganda been used so widely and successfully as in rallying the nation behind the Great War. Movie favorites like Marie Dressler are a powerful new influence on the national scene, and the whole rising galaxy of Hollywood stars twinkles patriotically to boost the sale of Liberty bonds. America's sweetheart, Mary Pickford, does her bit. I'm in love with you, pretty baby. Charlie Chaplin. Douglas Fairbanks. The Germans have said, the Americans cannot swim, they cannot fly, they will not come. But the Americans are singing, we'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't be back till it's over there. for more than 2 million young Americans. And with them goes something more powerful than all their weapons and equipment. The words of Woodrow Wilson. We have no selfish ends to serve. We desire no conquest, no dominion. We fight for the ultimate peace of the world and for the liberation of her peoples, the German peoples included. For millions on both sides, the words of Wilson lift the war high above the stalemated slaughter of the battlefields, above the savage strangling on the sea and under it, and give it moral significance. A war to end war. The American Expeditionary Force, the AEF in France. For the war-worn British, it is the last great reserve army of civilization. In its coming, the French see the magical operation of a blood transfusion, the arrival of new life in floods to reanimate the mangled body of France, bled white by the innumerable wounds of war. The Yanks have come. The Yanks are over there. The French and British lines crack and break. In assault after assault, the Germans close in on Paris and threaten the English Channel. Allied order of the day to all ranks in France and Flanders. Every position must be held to the last man. There must be no retirement. With our backs to the wall and believing in the justice of our cause, each one of us must fight on to the end. The safety of our homes and the freedom of mankind depend upon the conduct of each of us at this critical moment. And the Allied governments inform the United States, there is great danger of the war being lost unless the numerical inferiority of the Allies can be remedied as rapidly as possible by the advent of American troops. Now suddenly the roads to the front begin to be filled with endless streams of Americans. The impression made upon the hard-pressed French by this seemingly inexhaustible flood of gleaming youth in its first maturity of health and vigor is prodigious. Half-trained, half-organized, with only their courage, their numbers, and their magnificent youth behind their weapons, they are to buy their experience at a bitter price. But this they are quite willing to do. Due to the magnificent dash and power displayed on the field of Soissons, the tide of war is definitely turned. German resistance, heroic. German losses, disastrous. Their exhausted infantry now must cope with tanks, conceived and perfected by the British, who used them to breach the Hindenburg Line on August the 8th. The Black Day of the German Army. Late September 1918. The greatest assault yet launched by American soldiers, the Meuse-Argonne offensive. In 40 days of slugging, the Allies break the Hindenburg line. I will lead you into glorious times, the Kaiser once said. But now his subjects say, better an end with terror than terror without end. 4 months of shattering defeat at the front, unrest, revolution, mutiny at home, the hope of a just peace and a better, freer world as promised by President Wilson's 14 points. All these have at last destroyed the German army and its allies. Hindenburg admits, the struggle was beyond our strength. November 11th, 1918, 11 a.m. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The Kaiser has fled to Holland. Imperial Germany has ceased to exist. The Great War is over. Home from the yesterdays of the old world, home to the tomorrows of the new world. Their country has emerged from the Great War as the most powerful nation on earth. An era has ended, another begins. And we won't come back till it's over there. 50,000 Yanks will never come back. But those that do believe that it is over there. That they have made the world safe for democracy, that they have fought the war to end war. And so, Johnny comes marching home.